So first I want to say, I wrote down, I really like the name of this series of class action. It's like a triple entendre. It's like class action and lawsuit, but then it's also like class action because it's students and faculty, and also that it's like, class struggle. So, it's very clever. I like it. I'm really happy that I got to go after Kathy and hearing everything that SQE is doing. And so, I see a lot of the same struggles happening from in and around the nation. So, as I was introduced, my name is Hanna. I'm from Wisconsin. I am a graduate student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And I'm also the co-president of the Teaching Assistants Association. It's the oldest graduate employee union in the world. So it was born out of some Vietnam era protests, so very rich history. So I want to talk a little bit today about the occupation of the Capitol that happened for 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. It all kind of meshed together. And so actually the day before the occupation started, the TAA had actually been planning an event on Valentine's Day. And the event was going to be called something to the effect, I Heart UW, Scott Walker, or when I say Scott Walker, you have to hiss. Ooh, hiss. Although it sounds very Wisconsin thing to do. You can just be very passive-aggressive, actually. But we had an event that said, I Heart UW, Scott Walker, Don't Break My Heart. And that was because we know that once Governor Walker was going to take office, he was going to enact massive cuts to the UW system. And what that's looked like is, we didn't know how much, but it's turned out it's been something like 15 to 20% he's going to cut to the system, something like $250 million. Also along with that is that our chancellor, Carolyn Biddy Martin, is trying to split off the UW-Madison from the rest of the UW system. What that's going to enact in is turning it more into a private institution. We're going to see privatization of public education, tuition rates skyrocketing, and the rest of the UW system left hanging out to dry because they have to provide education to the rest of the state on a severely limited budget. And that dream of going to the UW-Madison and getting that degree there is going to be lost for many Wisconsinites. So we planned this event on Valentine's Day. And Scott Walker, nope, is this still out? Hello, testing, is it still on? Okay. Okay, thanks. I could have done it without, but basically, Scott Walker had come up with the budget repair bill, the bill that was going to cut collective bargaining rights to all the state employees and do many other bad things just a few days before. So we retooled the event. We said, we're going to go and we're going to march on the Capitol. We're going to talk about what Amy was saying earlier, how the study that her and her colleagues did, that these teaching conditions, we don't have enough time. Teachers are feeling overburdened. They feel like they're cheating students out of education because teaching conditions, the professors and teachers' teaching conditions, the students' learning conditions. And so we retooled this event. We said that we're going to go ahead and we're going to have this event and we're going to say, don't cut the UW and don't kill collective bargaining rights for public employees because students are not going to get the education that they deserve. So we marched to the Capitol, the epitominous Capitol, and with about 1,000 undergraduates, graduates, graduate employees, and faculty, and dumped over 3,000 Valentines that said, I Heart UW, Don't Break My Heart, Scott Walker. And some people just like custom designed them. They're very ornate. Dumped them on his desk. And so we were very proud of that, those 1,000 people. But in the next 2 days, as we saw, tens of thousands of people showed up to the Capitol and started protesting the budget repair bill. So the TAA, what we plan to do is we want to, for the bill to actually move through, it had to go through the budget process. So there was a open hearing of the Joint Finance Committee of the Wisconsin Assembly and Senate. We packed a line, and we weren't the only people in the line. There were many outraged Wisconsinites getting in that line, and they had said that people would speak as long as they were on the list. It came around midnight for testimony going 14 hours straight, and the Republicans on the committee said they were going to shut down the line. And so we protested loudly. We said, let us speak, we will speak. But they're basically shutting down voices of people, of the hundreds, and turns out throughout the occupation thousands of people that were opposed to the bill that testified against it. So around 3 a.m. they actually left, and we decided we're staying. And so we sent out calls on Facebook and Twitter and called all our friends and said, come to the Capitol, bring your pillows and sleeping bags. We're staying here until all our voices are heard. And so we went ahead and occupied the Capitol and stayed there for over 2 weeks. And through that, there was a lot of things that happened. I mean, I think we occupied the Capitol, and days later, the Wisconsin Democrats, the famous 14, they left the state and postponed the bill actually getting passed. And encouraged by that was that it was everybody. There was thousands of people coming to the Capitol every day. The Thursday and Friday of that week, it was the high school teachers and the middle school teachers. They took 2 sick-out days, in fact, of job action, and risked their jobs, many of these teachers. And in support, their students walked out and supported them. So hundreds of high school students walking out, coming to the Capitol, marching. And so during the occupation, we found out a lot of things. We found out people come out, people were willing to raise their voices. We found an ad hoc community formed inside the Capitol. The TAA started doing things like getting food and marshaling and making sure that it remained a peaceful protest, that and making sure that the grounds was clean, making sure that we were good stewards of the Capitol building, and coordinating with the other people that were staying in the Capitol, disseminating information. Something that was huge is that in the budget repair bill, Scott Walker had intentionally excluded the firefighters unions and the police unions from being affected by the bill. And what we saw is that firefighters and police marched in the Capitol in solidarity with the rest of everybody that was marching. And firefighters would come with bagpipes and play the bagpipes. Everybody would go crazy that the firefighters were supporting us and supporting the labor movement. And eventually the occupation stopped, like all good things. Eventually it was choked out as Scott Walker illegally closed the Capitol, the People's House, and people were now not allowed back in. But the thing that was built in those 2 or 3 weeks was much bigger than anything I think Scott Walker anticipated. So what are we doing now? Well, the TAA, we're working now. I mean, we're working on a political front. We're working on recalls. We're working to stop the budget now, the formal budget, which makes huge cuts to the UW system, that endorses a split of UW-Madison from the rest of the system, and affects citizens across Wisconsin in a myriad of different ways. We're fighting back on budget cuts on the campus too. We're fighting what our chancellor calls a new budget partnership, basically the plan to cut off UW-Madison from the rest of the system. And we're being public with that. We're protesting. We're out in the streets. We're doing direct actions. we're not going to be fine with this. She's basically had a field day with this and thinks that she has been using her own position as chancellor as a bully pulpit, sent out mass emails on the university to every person in the Wisconsin system, telling them to lobby for this policy when there's obviously dissent on this. We think this is overreaching. This is not what a chancellor is supposed to do. A chancellor is supposed to encourage dialogue on a campus, supposed to encourage debate. That's what college and university is for. But no, she's using it to preach and to get her way. And so we're doing this in two ways, trying to work through the political system and trying to do direct actions. And I think the most important thing in all of this is we need to find ways of getting people involved and feeling like they have ownership of what they're doing, having control of what happens to their state and their university. And that's what we need to do in universities across this nation. And that's how we're going to win. Thanks.